1,659 feet through solid granite. Perhaps you've seen this tunnel driving by, or maybe you've even walked through this here at Donner Summit. But I'm here to tell you that this is no ordinary tunnel. With all due respect to the guys that physically built this 150 years ago, this is tunnel number 6, the Great Summit Tunnel of the Sierra Nevada, built for and by the Transcontinental Railroad. So let's explore how they bored through a mountain in the 1860s. Right, you ready to head up to the mountains to see a great hole in the wall?
I am.
Right on. All right, so
I've only lived here 50 years and never been there.
well, we gonna check it out today. Here we go.
All right, cool.
All right, to get there, we're going to take Interstate 80 west out of Reno, and we're going to pass by Truckee, and we're going to exit at the Donner Lake exit, and that's actually right where the Donner Memorial State Park is. And then we're going to meander down this old road, which is actually the old road, Old Highway 40. This is the road that our grandparents would have taken before they constructed Interstate 80. And this winds along Donner Lake. It's a really beautiful drive. And then it will start heading up the mountains slowly and windily. And we'll be, this road's not closed. Look, there's bikers coming down. So yeah, this will wind up slowly. There's a really cool old bridge up there, and oh my gosh, I guess it is closed. So we are going to turn around, double back to the highway. We're going to go down several miles and exit at the Soda Springs exit, jump back on the old Highway 40, and just come up the backside. As promised on this channel, I'll bring you sites and interesting locations that can be reached from Reno in a short amount of time, hopefully. We had a road closure today. We had to go around the back way to get to this location. But this is about 45 minutes from Reno, just past Truckee. And this is a fascinating place, especially for those with an imagination. So on to our story. There were 15 tunnels that were required to get the railroad through the Sierra Nevada. And this one was by far the longest and most challenging. Tunnel number 6 at 1,659 feet. Nothing like this had ever been attempted in a location like this in America before. To give you some perspective, the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C. is 555 feet tall. This tunnel is the length of 3 Washington monuments. You might look at this tunnel and think, oh yeah, that probably required a lot of digging. But I'm here to tell you it was way more than that. This tunnel had to be dug by hand with explosives. There were no power tools used in the construction of this tunnel. When constructed, it was 19 feet high and 16 feet wide through solid granite. Granite is supremely dense and hard stuff. This location just blows my mind. How did they do this in 1866? Construction of the first Transcontinental Railroad started in 1863, which was only 19 years after the first emigrant wagons were pulled over the Sierra at this location, the Stevens-Townsend-Murphy Party of 1844. This gargantuan project was started right in the middle of the Civil War that was raging back east. The entire railroad was finished in 1869, linking the East Coast to the West Coast, and this changed everything. It was one of the great technological and engineering feats of the 19th century, and greatly expanded the economy and colonization of the American West. 2 railroads essentially built the line. The Central Pacific laid track from Sacramento eastward to Promontory Summit, Utah, and the Union Pacific from Omaha, Nebraska, west to Promontory. It was financed through various government and company bonds. After Congress greenlit the monumental undertaking to build a railroad across the continent, surveys were started in the 1850s to find the right route. Work started on tunnel number 6 way before the rails got here from Sacramento. The lion's share of this work was done by the Chinese, almost 10,000 of them over the course of the entire line. 10,000 Chinese folks.
And they were brought in due to labor shortages. And it was found that they were fantastic workers and they were affordable. This is the location of the central shaft, which was dropped down right in the middle of the project so workers could be lowered down and start working from the inside out on two faces. So you guys coming from the outside, guys working from the inside, there were 4 separate faces at work at one time. Debris somehow had to be hauled out of the shaft, so an old locomotive engine was stripped down of everything but the power section and laboriously hauled up the mountain to this location, and that engine was used as a hoist to bring the debris out from the shaft.
All right, are you ready? This is how the tunnel was made. One man would hold a flat-headed bit against the granite, and 2 men with sledgehammers would pound on the bit, and the guy holding the bit had to be super steady, and he'd turn it a quarter turn, and then they hit it twice again. Quarter turn, hit it again. You know, bam, bam, turn, bam, bam, turn. It took 3 men 1 hour to get 1 foot into the granite. The guys swinging the hammers had to be super strong. This was back-breaking work. And think about it, no electric lights. All they had for illumination were lanterns and candles and what was coming in through the already dug tunnel. Again and again with the pounding. Quarter turn, again with the pounding, a quarter turn, and this way they could make a round hole with a flat-headed bit. They would keep going until they had a hole almost 2 feet deep into which they could pack the black powder or the nitroglycerin sometimes. They would insert the fuse and then pack in the hole with clay, straw, or sometimes sand. They would light the fuse and run the hell out of there. And after the explosion, another crew would come in and clear out the debris, wheel it out, and the whole process would start again. They used up to 300 pounds of black powder a day.
Dear viewers, this process went on 24 hours a day, 6 days a week, for 2 years. For 2 years! Spring, summer, fall, and winter. And also consider where we're at. This is the summit of the Sierra Nevada. And in winter, that means snow and a lot of it. In the first winter, 40 feet of snow fell. And tunnels had to be dug through the snowbanks in order to get to the work site. The workers, the Chinese, the Irish, and the other folks that were working the tunnel many times slept in big snow caves in little huts and would shuttle back and forth to work in these long snow tunnels. And windows had to be opened in the side of the snow tunnels so they could get rid of the granite that was coming out of the side of the mountain. Sometimes snow would cover up the work site as well, and they had to dig it out, and avalanches were common. In a great testament to the engineers of the 19th century, when the 4 work faces were finally joined into one, it was found that they were only off by 2 inches. 2 inches! That would be an acceptable margin of error if this was built today. This tunnel was in continuous use for 124 years, starting in 1869. The tracks were finally pulled up in 1993, 30 years ago, after the railroad determined that it would be less expensive to clear snow and keep the track operational if they bypassed this location, this tunnel, and made a new tunnel to the south. Sorry about the wind. It's windy up here at the summit. The views of Donner Lake behind me and the greater surroundings have been taken in by photographers since that time. And incidentally, this location was also used by the famous painter Albert Bierstadt in the creation of his 1873 painting entitled Donner Lake from the Summit. This painting was commissioned by Collis Huntington, who is one of the big 4 of the Central Pacific Railroad. And Collis Huntington actually accompanied Bierstadt to this location while references were made for this scene. This huge 10-foot long by 6-foot tall painting now hangs at the New York Historical Society. So this is just past tunnel number 6. This is affectionately known as the China Wall because the Chinese built this area up by hand to connect these 2 tunnels. All right, please hang out with me till the very end here, guys, because I got some special footage that I took this winter. I flew my drone into the tunnel right through the big historic snow that we've had this past winter, and there's icicles hanging down inside. Looks like the Bat Cave. It's really cool, so hang out for that. If you're enjoying this content, guys, please click the little like button and subscribe. By clicking the like button, the YouTube algorithm kind of digs that, and it allows this video to be shown to more people. So help spread the love, please. We actually ended this episode about an hour north of Truckee in a little town called Graeagle. We took the motorcycles up to the Brewing Lair, which if you've never been to it, it's a really cool little nano brewery in the woods. Just outside of Graeagle. It's a great place to just go up, cruise to. They have a little food truck arrangement there, and they have 7 or 8 beers on tap. It's all brewed on premise, and they don't have big distribution, so it's a little small operation, and I love supporting those. But I filmed my normal outro episode, or part of the episode up there, and for whatever reason it got corrupted or didn't make it onto my capture device, so I'm just going to redo this ending on my front porch with an arrogant bastard from Stone Brewing. These are really heavy dark ales, and there's really not too much like them in the market. I first had an arrogant bastard ale in Memphis, Tennessee about 20 years ago, and I've kind of liked it ever since. So it's 7.2%, and it's great for any day of the year. Hopefully you've enjoyed and have learned something about the railroad experience in our little area. If you'd like to learn more, this is the book that I used for reference and really got me interested in the first Transcontinental Railroad. This book by Stephen Ambrose, Nothing Like It in the World. It gives you the whole story, all the people that were involved, how they built it, not only the tunnel, of course, but across the country. It's pretty fascinating. So that's all I got for you today. Please join us for our next episode. As Harold Smith Sr. of Harold's Club always said, I'm with you. Cheers.